Welcome back, everyone, to Seaweed Brain, a Percy Jackson podcast in our Sea of Monsters era. All aboard, toot, toot, roo! That's the sound a cruise ship makes. We are so excited to talk about episode 206 today. This is my favorite episode of this season. We have so much to say. We brought a special guest from the land of Percy Jackson podcasting to help us out. Stick around.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica, joined as always by my co-host Carter. What's up, Carter?
Hi, hello.
Good morning. It's morning edition Seaweed Brain for Carter, who's still in Hawaii. Mal, we are welcoming you to the podcast today. Mal from Demigod Debut. How are you?
I am good. I'm so glad to be here.
I have not had anyone else with a Percy Jackson podcast on this season yet because we're all so busy busting booty putting out content right now, but Mal asked to come on and I was like, yes, please. So Mal, thank you for taking the time to be here despite also making content and recording, your own episodes and stuff. What have you thought of the season so far?
I'm very giving. I'm just, I love to yap.
So generous.
I really, really liked the first four. Perhaps controversially, I was a little disappointed with 5. I think because of my own, I wanted it to be the book and it was not the book. But as I watched it more times, I'm like, okay, I'm getting over it.
Sure.
And then I loved this one. I thought this one was fantastic. So I'm very excited.
I'm so excited to talk about Once Upon a Time today and Six of Crows. You think I can't make this episode about that? I will. Carter and I watched this together, so I already know what Carter thinks of this episode. But where does it stand for you ranking-wise this far this season, Carter?
Yeah, I think probably the top. This is it's the payoff episode. This is the structure of television as we sit here in 2026. Up until this point in history, the concept of episode 6 out of 8 being culmination, all of your players have converged onto the same locations and things are interlocking. It's all been building to this.
Episode 205 and episode 206 are a block, right? They were a filming block because of the fact that it's all the Polyphemus stuff. It's the Polyphemus cave and the Polyphemus arc. Mm-hmm. But they are truly such an excellent story block. Setting up Fatal Flaw in 205 so that we can witness everyone this episode aggressively demonstrate their fatal flaw. The entire episode 6 is so stunning, so satisfying. Like Carter said, it's the payoff. Before we get into it today, I'm going to do something we haven't done yet thus far, discussing season 2 on the podcast, and say, spoiler warning, if you haven't read at least through The Last Olympian, you should tune out, read that stuff, and come back. And frankly, to be safe, I would say all the way through the Trials of Apollo. Everything, all the way through the senior year adventures. If you're new to the fandom and you tuned into Seaweed Brain, that's major. That's honorable. That's impressive. Please do come back. All right. New patrons to thank: Marcus, Carrie, Claudia, Lynn, and Suki. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, thank you to our sustaining patrons, Izzy, James, Ellen, and my mother, Jennifer Ellen Ito.
Iconic.
Not you saying her whole name on the internet.
She wants me to say her whole name. She wants us to revere her name. Did you hear she made our hats for the premiere?
Yes, and they were incredible.
All right. Let us begin to discuss this absolutely brilliant, all 6 leads in single physical place episode. So, because we got this very excellent framing from Clarice in episode 204, we've known what we're up to the past few episodes. We had Scylla and Charybdis, the trial of choice. We had the Sirens, the trial of wisdom. And now we have Polyphemus, the Cyclops, who guards our prize. So this episode is all about getting to know Polyphemus. And what we get to know about Polyphemus is that he is somebody who works alone. He Henry David Thoreau's it up on this island. He is all about solitude, and he does not have the power of friendship. So in this episode, we are going to learn this other perspective on why it's so important to have the power of friendship. You could almost think, if we're thinking about how this episode is about everybody aggressively demonstrating their fatal flaws, that Polyphemus is also demonstrating his fatal flaw in this episode, which is, self-reliance. Like Carter really spoke about in last week's episode on 205, the way that we are setting up fatal flaws, there's only one way around your fatal flaw. You cannot therapize yourself out of your fatal flaw. CC can't help you out of your fatal flaw. No amount of inner work can change who you are at your core. But whether or not it's a fatal flaw or a fatal strength is entirely dependent on the power of friendship. You have to be surrounded by people whose fatal flaws interlock with yours, complement yours, and balance yours, and people who understand who you are so that they can pull you off the ledge or push you further and say, this is either a bad demonstration or this is a positive demonstration. Please continue acting on your strength. And for Polyphemus, he's completely alone. He has nobody to pull him back. So he is arguably demonstrating his fatal flaw in a negative way in this episode. We're learning about how important it is to have people around you because otherwise you're all alone.
That's beautiful.
Thanks, Mal.
I'm just here. I'm like, wow, big fan of Seaweed Brain. Just like getting to experience it live. Crazy.
We love having you. This whole Polyphemus block really demonstrates the power of friendship. And it's so great that like our big bad villain, if we're thinking about how Clarice has framed this whole quest, that our big bad villain is representative of solitude and the anti-power of friendship.
It's also not a clean victory for the power of friendship. We're also going to see some
fatal loyalty.
Yes. We're going to see a lot of difficult choices, contradictions, impossible circumstances that we are put into through the power of friendship. I would say from multiple people, obviously we will see Percy over-indexing on his fatal flaw, maybe over-indexing, definitely indexing on his fatal flaw. But I feel like Luke ends this episode, despite winning on paper and getting everything he wants, I think he's in a tough spot.
He's in a tough spot.
I think Luke is also over-indexed on the power of friendship in this episode, as has Annabeth, as have several other people.
Yes, agree.
Whoever's choice it was to bring Luke into this episode, like, I hope your pillow is always cold. I hope you get whatever you want for the rest of your life ever. Like, this was such a good choice.
Let's drop Albert Kim's name right now and count how many times we shout out Albert Kim during this episode today. Somebody start a counter. Albert Kim, you are our father. You are my biological father.
Absolutely.
I love you. This is my favorite episode. When we finished watching the screener and then we saw that written by Albert, I was like, oh my God. We're going to have a conversation about why this episode is also Avatar: The Last Airbender. If anybody's not familiar with Albert Kim, he show ran season 1 of Avatar on Netflix, the live action one, and is also just such a brilliant mind. Shout out to you, Albert. We loved having dinner with you in Vancouver. I see here in our notes it says The Last Jedi, as well as Avatar: The Blue Spirit. Someone explain what that means.
I think, both of those, it's the spirit of this episode. It's arc-wise, we're in a similar place, right? We're mostly near the end, but like in a juicy middle of a kind where many things are still up in the air, and we are witnessing a convergence of our sides, right? It's not a permanent convergence, but this is that dangerous, juicy, uncertain. Everyone is actually very close, and anyone could at any point join everybody else. But everyone also is coming into this with this mixture of confidence that they're going to get the other people to join them, and also an unexpected openness to meeting other people where they are and deepening the relationships that we haven't actually gotten to see on screen necessarily.
Yes. I feel like when I first watched this episode, maybe the first 2 or 3 times I watched this episode, I was watching it from the perspective of the Luke sympathizer that I am, and how like closely I feel like we have been paying attention to Luke's arc this season and where he's at emotionally throughout the show. And then the last time I watched it, I kind of had this like eye blur moment where I started watching it from the perspective of the people who watch the show who don't like Luke at all, which I think is a boring way to watch this show. Sorry, Mal.
Hey, whoa. I am not a full Luke hater. I recognize the things, like, I recognize his tragic backstory, and I understand where he's coming from. I do not like his choices.
Fair. He makes some tough choices, but having him appear in this episode from the perspective of somebody who like isn't necessarily having him at the forefront of your mind all the time is so exciting. You know, I think it is so jarring. How did you feel when Luke popped in, Mal?
Oh, I felt crazy. Again, I think it was a great choice, but there were several times that I like forgot that Luke was a player on this island because I just like wasn't used to it, and he just like kept appearing, and I was like, oh my gosh, right, Luke is here. And so it's just like every time it was a surprise. And I loved it. Like, I love Luke as an antagonist. I think he is so interesting and so great. And like, this episode really just showcased that. And I was like, obsessed.
Amazing. Since you have said I love Luke as an antagonist, you're allowed to stay for the rest of the episode. Let's get started. Thank you. Carter, talk to us about this cold open.
We open on Tyson falling through the ocean, and it is a shot pattern that we've seen from the show many times before. Many people fall through the ocean in this show about a son of Poseidon. And I think that the closest shot mirroring, which we got multiple times in season 1, but probably the cleanest parallel would be after Percy falls off the arch. And it's like an ultra wide. I think something about the lighting design through the water feels evocative of the same thing. And I think we're supposed to understand these definitely as parallel moments, because this is, of course, when Tyson discovers that he also has these water powers. This is also when Tyson falls down to the bottom of the ocean and sort of forces himself to take the deep breath and realize that he can breathe underwater.
Forces himself because Percy told him that his powers would kick in and like that his dad would be there for him. So he like believes Percy in that moment and takes the leap of faith.
I have so many feelings about Tyson. I love Tyson with my entire heart. That is my son. I have felt so bad for him, like not having the water powers that Percy has, and like seeing his relationship with his dad, like contrasted with like Percy's, and just, Tyson.
When the bracelet floats down, did y'all feel like that was coincidence of fate? Or is because we are underwater, were you also questioning, like I was, every single thing and being like, oh, is this Poseidon? Is Poseidon, bringing the bracelet to Tyson? Ooh.
I thought Rainbow brought the bracelet back to Tyson. That was my read on the situation. I thought we had like a good fetch game going, and so I thought Rainbow was continuing the fetch game.
Sure. We go from here to the Percy nightmare in the big house. I loved this. In a series that will be full, when all is said and done, of shots of dead children, this was our first shot of dead children. No, Carter's laughing at me. I'm
Jump
so
scare.
for real. I'm so for real. This is our first inch towards how dark season 3 is going to get. And I've heard people kind of speculating about this online, and it's so true that for people who aren't book readers, going into season 3 is going to shake them so hard because things get so serious and scary so fast. This is like, I think our notes, Carter, you wrote, it's like not graphic, but it is scary.
There's no blood. There's no physical traces of how they might have died in the shot. They could be sleeping, except for the fact that their eyes are all wide open, glazed over, looking up, and they're strewn across each other.
It's horrifying.
It is horrifying. Fascinating reminder of the idea that television best practices and censorships, there's not that strong of a relationship between that and actual depravity of content, I guess. Yeah, like there's no reason that you would need to see, I don't know, like necks cut open or something to feel the emotional gravity of the moment. In some ways, I think it's more horrifying that you have no idea what happened to these children, but they are clearly dead.
Yes. And then we have zippity zap of blue lightning. I'm going to shout out James. I think it was our patron, wonderful patron James, who said during our watch party when we got to the preview for this week's episode, James was like, why does that hooded figure look so human? Very good catch. That's a human hand on that lantern. And then we get to have some really delightful fatal flaw agitation. Percy wakes up from this dream so anxious. He can't sit still. He is freaking out. There's like, I don't even know what's in his hands, but he's like screwing something together. I couldn't figure out what that was. And he turns on light and wakes up Annabeth. Why? Because the only way to protect us from our fatal flaws is the power of friendship. And that's his freaking mortal tether. So he is in this moment. He's like, we gotta go. We gotta go right now. We gotta get Grover. I'm about to act out of aggressive loyalty to my friends. So I need to wake up Annabeth to talk me out of it. Otherwise, I'm about to do something real stupid. And she does. And she does. And the way that Annabeth communicates to Percy here is next level. You can tell at the beginning of this episode what they went through at the end of last episode. They are immediately closer. Immediately. The way that she speaks to him with such gentleness. Season 1, Annabeth could never have done this. It is such a beautiful demonstration of how much their friendship has grown and the fact that he witnessed her in the worst moment of her life just now.
Yeah.
With the
just
sirens.
now. Probably several hours previously. It is fascinating to watch her navigate this, not just from a place of greater tact and emotional intelligence and, like phrasing things in a way that is generous and open to conversation. You can feel the traces of this fatal flaw reckoning that she's just had, where she, even though it seems like she is convinced that her plan is right, there is still this, I think, enhanced space for doubt and a sensitivity to Percy's feelings here, where she is talking through it. An ungenerous person might say that this is a way to establish for viewers what the plan is before we start the episode, but I think there's a strong textual basis for her doing what she's doing, which is that she thinks that she's right, but she's going to re-reason it from first principles with Percy to make sure, from her end also, that she's not steamrolling him, or that there isn't something that she hasn't considered because of this sense of vulnerability, where she still believes that she knows things and can plan things and everything, but she's also open to the idea that she is overconfident and that she is the type of person who would overlook major flaws or overcommit to things in a plan. And we talk through those things.
The power of friendship.
The power of friendship.
And that's Perciveth. This is Percy saying, I'm emotional, I'm anxious, I feel like we need to rethink this plan. And Annabeth saying, okay, maybe there's something I missed because that's your strength and not mine. Let's rethink it.
But of course, mostly what they talk about is not just the plan. It is
the dream.
The dream, the reveal.
Oh, Percy saying, my mom always said the thing she liked about dreams is they never lie. First of all, yeah, Sally has a lot of dreams. I bet a lot of them tell the future. I bet she knows her dreams don't lie because she's had prophetic dreams Percy's entire life, her entire life, and then those dreams have come true. Ooh. Second of all, I bet Poseidon comes to her in her dreams. I bet that they talk in her dreams. And so she talks a lot about those dreams to Percy in a very vague way.
Seconded.
Well, now I'm just thinking about like all the dreams that I've had where like my teeth are falling out or something really terrible happens. And I'm like, oh gosh, I hope those are lying.
Dream.
There's a fundamental truth to them in the sense that all things go.
Like without fail, every time I have like a big race coming up, I have a dream that I like sleep through the start of the race. Like I've run the New York City Marathon twice now, and every year there has been one night where I wake up in a cold sweat because I'm like, I slept through the marathon. And those have been lies. So I think Sally Jackson doesn't know what she's talking about.
I think there's a deeper truth to the idea of sleeping through moments of life that we all experience.
That's beautiful, Carter. I'm going to start telling you my dreams so you can interpret them for me. Thalia being the one under the Kronos hood here works on so many levels. We have Thalia as Kronos, right? Aligning us with what Luke said, that Thalia would choose Kronos, which is important because Annabeth is about to revisit that statement in a few minutes here when she talks to Luke.
Yes.
Also positions Thalia as Kronos in the sense of Thalia being Percy's greatest enemy at this moment in time. Like if Kronos is Percy's enemy, Thalia is also Percy's enemy, and that is going to ring so true in season 3.
Yes, this is a line from the book that does not make it into the TV show, at least up until this episode.
Percy, you know who you remind me of most? Thalia. You guys are so much alike, it's scary. I mean, either you would have been best friends or you would have strangled each other. Let's go with best friends.
I love that we have been positioning Poseidon and Kronos, Percy and Luke as two sides of the same coin based on that drachma at the beginning with a scythe and a trident. And now it's the secret, sneaky third side of the coin. It's actually a triangle, and it's also Thalia. And it's also Zeus, which is perfect because everything is about threes.
I think we also have to shout out how efficiently and precisely we set up all of our visual iconography for Thalia and are able to tap in so effectively from very eyeliner-based look. Not that many people could have such an instant gaggy reveal from being under a hood where mostly what you're just seeing is the eyes of the person. Shout out to that. Shout out to the makeup design. But also the blue lightning thing, I think, is not something that we have named. There's been no dialogue about this. But in this set of 3 or 4 minutes, we see lots of lightning. There's a thunderstorm in the distance when we are in the Sea of Monsters approaching Polyphemus' island. However, notably, the color design of the lightning is distinct. Thalia has a blue lightning that we see her attacking Percy with in the dream and going behind the hooded figure when we are in the dream sequence in the big house. Whereas the lightning in the Sea of Monsters, which we see interspersed between the actual dream sequence and the reveal that it was Thalia in the dream, is a classical, like, whitish, yellowish we're ready, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? And we've seen the blue lightning several times before. I mean, we've seen the camp barrier, etc., but we've been clean, we've been precise, we've been keeping it saved up for when we need it.
Do you think this means that when Percy uses his water powers, he needs the water to be like a different color? Or is it the same color as Poseidon's ocean because they are closer and not in fact at odds in the way that Thalia and Zeus are, so they have different color lightning?
I don't...
You don't think the ocean's going to like change color
like
when Percy... You don't think he has the juice for that? Well, from here, it's time for a delightful little Shakespearean soliloquy from Polyphemus about the importance of solitude. And this is where I felt Madeline Miller come in. This was a monologue that might as well have come ripped straight out of Circe by Madeline Miller from like the first third of the book, where Circe is all about her, you know, making the most of her loneliness on this island. But it did make me feel bad for Wokyphemus because I was thinking about Show Circe's monologue at Percy, where she was talking about being alone and being stranded here on this island. Like, Polyphemus is also stranded on this island. Let's say that both Circe and Polyphemus react via their fatal flaw to their loneliness in negative different ways. And Circe uses her fatal empathy to manipulate people around her to stay with her on her island so she doesn't have to face the loneliness. And Polyphemus embraces the loneliness to a toxic degree of perhaps killing everyone who could potentially be a friend of his every time they come to his island.
Yes. The key difference between them and the reason why Polyphemus's mythological characterization is less based around solitude is, one, the fact that he is a quote-unquote monster and there was not that same amount of generosity and complexity of personality extended to his portrayals. But I think also notably, Polyphemus is not bound to the island. Circe cannot leave in the same way that Calypso cannot leave. There are some people who are cursed to be stuck in places where they will be abandoned. There is a punishment of solitude, whereas Polyphemus, to our knowledge, is not bound in the same way. He is choosing this. He wants to be alone, and the reason why he's on this island is to be alone.
You really did the cadence there, Carter. You really dropped into the Polyphemus voice.
It's a fascinating soliloquy where he, I think, really takes us on a tour through all of the different known famous literatures on solitude. I think there are elements of the Henry David Thoreau, let's say, fake solitude. Famously, his mom still cooked for him when he was doing all that. And also, it's literally not that far from other things and people. He had visitors all the time. But,
shout out to Dickinson on Apple TV. Everybody watch Dickinson on Apple TV. Great episode of John Mulaney.
Played him?
Yes. He is so pathetic. It's so good.
I forgot about that entirely until you just said that.
I love Dickinson.
That's a strain of it, but I think we're also getting these other strains of like a Hobbesian, everyone is terrible, and the only way to achieve peace and security is walling yourself off from them and being more ready to defend yourself than they will be prepared to attack you. Is kind of giving Billionaire. Do we not think that this is the way that they talk and the way that they look upon other people, that they are
he also talks about hoarding all of his treasures too.
Yes,
right.
He certainly does. He certainly does. Literally, we see him do this with the fleece, that he has this immeasurable potential that he basically doesn't use, that it is just there as a status symbol and as a trap for other people to fall into rather than fulfilling its actual life-giving purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Strong resonance is there as well, but he kind of like smooths through all of these. I think it works, but it is like interesting that he doesn't kind of have like the one take. He is, for all the reasons and in all the ways, perpetually alone person.
It's also strongly implied that Pan left the fleece here intentionally. What did you guys think of this? Did you think this was a lie?
I thought it was kind of a twisting the truth situation because Polyphemus very much implies that the fleece was left there by Pan so that he could use it to lure satyrs. I was sort of picturing like maybe Pan brought the fleece here to try to create this utopia maybe for satyrs, and then maybe when Pan disappeared, Polyphemus was able to kind of move in and take over what was supposed to be a safe space and turn it into something else. Maybe Pan really did bring the fleece here, but I don't think it was Pan. I hope it wasn't Pan's intention to like lure satyrs here. Like that would be terrible. Why is Grover searching for that guy if that is true?
Yeah. I think it's also possible that this is a tee up for more of the framing that Grover gave us earlier in the season, that the third way, all of the beings that are not mortals, demigods, or gods, that there is some sort of deeper kinship that we are meant to theorize on.
Yeah. Like, you think Pan was like the true one, the chosen satyr will find a way to learn a lesson. Will like make it off of this island and also learn a lesson from Polyphemus about the they them reading of the world.
I think that's possible. I also think that a like radical empathy and mercy and forgiveness for Polyphemus as part of the they them third option is also possible. I also don't really know how they will be able to expound upon this in a way that is efficient and will fit into season 3, which is already very packed, or season 4, which will also be very packed. But, I'll be fascinated to see to what extent this helps us to understand Pan and will be part of a clean expansion of that character and idea.
I'd love if we don't get the answer until we actually meet Pan in season 4.
Yes, as Pan's on his deathbed, let's ask, so why did you bring the fleece to this island?
Yeah, explain yourself.
I mean, his deathbed is a lot of explain yourself anyway.
Yeah.
We might as well add it on. Yeah.
Now that we have seen the scene, I can finally share the clip of Aryan speaking in our interview about this scene. Let's roll the audio.
Getting to see all of that, I feel like, just makes Grover feel like his own character, you know what I mean? Definitely. And even that scene when he's with Polyphemus and he sees all of these like satyr skulls strewn around the cave, and Polyphemus is like mimicking, this is a bit of a spoiler. That's okay. Polyphemus is like mimicking all of their voices and like making fun of him and like talking about Pan and the golden fleece. It's like,
that would make me
this is like his, this is his like life, it's a lot for him.
Definitely.
And it was so much fun to get to, live it and just see what happens off screen and behind Percy's point of view.
And this is also why it was, I think, not a spoiler that in a prior episode of the official podcast, Aryan was talking about the character design that they had laid out for all the other versions of satyrs. Like, they have his horn design for the final season, because we've already seen his horn design from the final season on a skull being used to deliver the Act 5, Scene 1 soliloquy from Hamlet.
Oh, delightful.
But instead of To Be or Not to Be, it is anime.
Classic rock.
That satyr sounds like he rocked. Like, I want to go on a quest with that guy.
Anime and classic rock, for sure. So now we're going to take an ad break and we'll be right back. All right, it's time for some good old-fashioned Disney Channel. And also some good old-fashioned heisting. We are going to sneak in to the cave via the sheep. Before we can do that, though, gag of the century. Who jumped? Who screamed? Who fist pumped? Who cheered when Luke showed up in that damn iris message? Carter and I flipped out. I recorded us watching this for the first time and I sent it to Daphne. This moment of us screaming when Luke is revealed in the iris message all the way through this entire dialogue until Percy swats the message away and goes, "What are you doing?" So delicious. And the several layers of complexity that are happening in this conversation between Annabeth being like disappointed, but also trying to still reason with him and still get him to understand. She has now thought about Thalia and she knows the truth and she has to get him to see what she remembers to be true about Thalia. And Luke trying to coach her, he drops back into what we talked about in episode 1 when he goes, "See you out there." And it feels like older camp counselor, coach, swordmanship, older brother. He immediately drops back into that mode here, coaching her through the cave, being like, Polyphemus, he's not like the other monsters. Because what? Because what is he? Woke Luke. Woke Luke, the safe place for monsters. We're all children of the gods. He's
Everyone
cunning.
else was like, "Oh my God, Polyphemus is smart." Luke said, No. That's old news. That's old news. I've known this. I know that monsters can read. I know that Polyphemus is,
Luke,
a great fan of the Danish prince.
Luke, they.
This scene, everything about this was so delicious. It took so long for the iris message to materialize. There was, I feel like, 10 seconds of air sound effecting before you kind of got that first glimpse Oh.
And then there's also the added layer of, is Luke being honest here, or is he doing recon? And of course the answer is it's both. It's both. Genuinely worried about his sister. He's genuinely trying to make sure that she's safe. And he genuinely wants her to get the fleece so that he can get it from her.
Well, and my question this season has been, I guess this is also a question in the book because I don't think they ever really 100% say, but like, is Luke aware of the idea that the fleece might possibly bring back Thalia? Because like in the book, I mean, he says, you know, I would let you, I guess it does say in the book, because Luke says, I was going to let you have it when we were done with it, because like he wants Thalia back. So there's also like a part of me that's watching this. It's like, is he helping because his end goal is still to bring Thalia back?
I think there's also the question of, does Luke know at this point in time about what Kronos intends to do to his body? Because if Luke knew, that adds a layer of desperation to getting the fleece. Because if he can get the fleece, then Kronos will just return full form and won't have to use Luke's body. Also an unanswerable question at this point in time.
I think that the Thalia question we will probably get an answer to at some point this season, because in the book, it's also presented as something that comes about later. That like when we see her pop out of the tree, Percy has this aha moment of like, oh, that was probably the backup plan all along. This was always the secret trapdoor that we were going to help Kronos anyway, even if we won, right? And so like, I feel like it's not that improbable that we'll get maybe episode 8 exploration of how much Luke knew, when did he know it, etc. The second question, I feel like we will probably never gonna get an answer for, but is probably we can imagine about. And is probably, I would imagine, yes, that he does know. Because his performance this episode is scared. More than anything else. It is the fear and troubling, the tension of trying to stand out on his own and witnessing the magnitude of the lack of interest alignment at many moments between him and Kronos while still trying to commit to that team and realizing that there is nothing left for him but to commit to that team because he has foreclosed his other options.
Yeah, as far as story-wise, I don't think we'll ever know. And I don't even think we can like ask, we can't even have like somebody, a writer, we can't have Albert Kim come on and ask him because I don't think he would tell us. I don't think the writers would say like, yes, we think that Luke knows this at this point, or no, he doesn't.
And it doesn't matter,
it
frankly,
doesn't
what
matter.
They would say.
And I would say we just recorded with Andrew and we were talking with him about playable actions. And if I was Charlie, this would be so playable and I would choose it. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, I would choose the playable end of, if I don't get this fleece, my body and my soul are disappearing into nothingness. Because that is high stakes. You want to go for the high stakes.
Yes.
Because the thing I always forget is like, we're only a year from that. Like, we are a year from Battle of the Labyrinth at this point, because Titan's Curse happens in the
winter
middle.
book.
Yeah, it's like this is sooner than I even think about, like, reading this book or watching the show. Like, we're a year from Battle of the Labyrinth, baby, and all that entails.
And you know what that means? We're a year from Ethan Nakamura and anyone being anti-Luke, us getting to say, stop AAP, I hate. Can't wait for that.
I love it. Yeah, everything about this Iris message is so powerful.
Should we shout out the worst line?
Which
is also the best line?
What is the worst line?
Right. I'm just wrong about everything, huh? No matter what I say. Who was triggered? Raise your hand. Who was triggered?
Oh, powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. He said, I'm going to manipulate.
Kronipulation.
So hard. But incredible. I genuinely feel
he can be a little toxic as a treat.
He can be a little toxic as a treat. It's so true.
A little toxic as a treat. Because what was it? This was not just toxic. It was juicy. It was revealing. It was a little bit of like, oh, this is probably actually not effective. We're getting that little break of, this is a little bit vulnerable. This is a little bit too revealing to be maximally cool and detached and making a clean argument that will convince Annabeth, but also will it be more effective because it's the realness. It also feels, I think this is true. I think this feels like a genuine reaction to me. I think that he is actually frustrated that Annabeth doesn't understand. And it probably is emotionally meaningful to him. Not just that he wants her on his side for reasons of like, they should be on the same side because they're kind of family and all of those things. But this is giving a little bit of, he still specifically values her opinion. He doesn't just want her on the same team because they would be good collaborators, but because he is, I think the doubt is creeping in, right? That like he cannot be 100% convinced that he has chosen correctly if he cannot convince her that he has chosen correctly. Right?
And what's so fun about this is, of course, Annabeth is right. She has thought through all of episode 204's flashbacks and has landed on this conclusion, the right conclusion about Thalia. She says to him, you were right. She hated Zeus. I remember that. But you were wrong to think she would ever stand with Kronos. She would have wanted change, not through war. That's exactly correct. That's what happens for Thalia, and that's the path that she ends up taking. It's very Annabeth to be completely right about the situation. She has separated herself from her emotional response to Luke yelling at her, gone through all of the facts, and arrived at this extremely correct conclusion.
I love her.
And then she delivers the Luke, Kronos has already changed you. You can't even see how much of yourself you've lost, which is also a moment because this is what Percy was trying to tell her at the beginning of the season and what she wasn't ready to believe yet.
And surely a foreshadowing for literally
Luke
how
Kronos.
much of himself he will have to give up.
Yes. I'm going to shout out Emily and Phoebe from Monster Donut. I watched their clip of interviewing Leah about the bracelet, the moment that Annabeth throws the bracelet back into the water. And Leah spoke on how important that moment is to forgetting and letting go of past Luke. That like truly what she is doing in episode 204 is not only, you know, separating her emotions, trying to like logically think through the past and everything, but also is trying to let go and understand that Luke has changed. And so it's great to be able to hear her in this moment be like, you have changed. I am now, you know, siding with Percy's perspective on things.
But not completely.
Yeah, not completely, because she doesn't think that he's beyond help.
Yes, changed, but not necessarily irreversibly. Yes. We also have to mention that as all of this has been happening, we got an intercut of Percy, who's supposed to be keeping watch, essentially, this whole time. The little look over the shoulder that he gives.
Stress.
The physical performances in this episode are so funny. They are so frantic. It brings me so much joy to see how kind of like he is in this episode.
He's so confused and frustrated that she would even be talking to him. He's like, how could
he
you
does not want her talking to Luke.
He's like, literally, how could you do this? Like, as Fatal Flaw loyalty boy, he's like, why would you be talking to him right now? Like, I have already told you.
When he finally cuts this off,
and throws her phone across the room.
Such a perfect shot. He is careening into the center of the frame. We're like, what? We have the same angle we've been using to look up at Luke this whole time, and he just slams into the middle of the frame, breathing heavily from running in.
In a sense, it's like catching your friend FaceTiming their toxic ex.
Literally, and then throwing their phone across the room.
Like, you do not need to be talking to him. He's bad for you.
Put the phone down.
How much of the phone call do you think he was listening to? Like, how much of Luke did he hear?
I think he heard it all, no?
Unclear. I
think he heard it because then he turns around to her and he says, Luke's working an angle, you know that.
I feel like he would just say that regardless.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you can't trust
Percy
Luke.
does not leave this scene, I would say, with a more new... Like, I think on some subconscious level, he is growing and understanding that he doesn't have the full picture, maybe, on the Luke-Annabeth relationship. But also textually, like his line on this is not changing and remains very, I would say, unnuanced, right? That his, and you can see it in Annabeth's reaction that she nods along, but she also, we are able to get the subtextual from her, like Percy also doesn't fully understand this. I'm still working through this, and I cannot explain why I had to take this phone call to him right now.
I think it's funny that Percy, who is supposed to be our like EQ 1000 emotionally intelligent character, empathy, like I understand feelings thing, has zero empathy for Luke. And I think that's just because of the fact that Percy has this perspective on Luke of Luke's being violent, that like Luke is anti-Percy's fatal flaw, you know, that like Luke is so anti-loyalty and so anti-taking care of others. And that it's like the violence of Luke's plan that allows Percy to like fully turn off his empathy from him. But I also kind of feel like this is maybe the last, season 3. I think season 4, we are going to see Percy's empathy towards Luke. You know, I think at some point in the show, we are going to get to the point where Percy is able to use his high EQ therapy on Luke as well.
Yeah, to an extent. That is like fundamentally... This is the like big internal battle that we're witnessing throughout the entire series. Like, we're going to be fighting a lot of Kronos, but fundamentally the like war over how much empathy Percy can extend Luke is the core thread that will determine how everything works out.
You're right. And it's also interesting watching Percy resist all of Luke's cult leader pitches because he is somebody who grew up in a loving home and doesn't need that. Like, the reason why Percy is immune to it is because he's not seeking anything from Luke. He already has a parental figure who has given him what he needs. Okay, which leads us to Allison interrupting. This, I don't have any words. Allison, girl, not you picking on this 13-year-old. Like, please.
They really set her up. In case anyone was wondering about the whole sympathetic Luke offshoring the villainy, watching her interrupt this phone call to jealously bully him for talking to a 13-year-old is really that really ambiguity is gone. We're leaning in. She is going to be our sponge for all of our kind of unbridled, unnuanced negative emotionality. I mean, it's not like it's not like we could not imagine a fuller, generous backstory for her, but I think the show is not going to be that interested in walking us through that.
I am interested in a female reading on Allison. Like, I think that the show is offering us interesting readings on her relationship with Luke, on her role within the army. I think that there's a lot to be interpreted from her whole shtick in the army and on that boat.
She's the true believer. More than he is.
Feels a little like she is meant to be sort of the stand-in for Luke's more ruthless side.
For
so that we sympathize with Luke more, which I don't love that we're just like putting that on this girl, just because I think it is so easy to, like, as people who are raised in a very misogynistic culture, like, it's very easy to hate on this woman for this in a way that, like, we wouldn't if it was Luke doing these things, I think.
She's an interesting character because I'm usually I mean, like, I don't support the glorification of murder, but I do support the empowerment of women kind of a person where, like, I love seeing a violent girl do violent things. But she has that extra bent of, I think it's the hating on Annabeth thing that makes me be like, sit down, Allison.
Yeah.
And she really does. This is like, she's getting a little bit big for her britches, you know? Like, she's trying to call out Luke on things. Like, that's your boss, right? Like, Luke's in charge here. And he's clearly also upset at the fact that she's trying to call him out. I decide what's important. Right? I'm the one who has the connection to Kronos. I'm the one who is leading. I'm the voice of God. I'm the prophet. Like, you follow me.
Yeah. She does not look convinced, though. This is, it's giving, I'm going to speak
directly to
the manager.
God. Yeah.
I am the true believer.
100%.
She's gonna have some 95 theses waiting for us tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Watch out.
There are problems within the cult.
She is such a familiar second in command in the cult.
Who, like, believes more in the cult than the first in command in the cult, who at a certain point is like, I also have other external personal interests that extend beyond the ideology that we're all professing.
Yes. Oh, delightful. Also, I love that, like, the way that Percy kind of ended this scene, Allison also ends this, you know, that, like, Percy is like, hey, Luke's working an angle, and Allison is like, hey, this isn't important.
It reminds us of the tenuousness, that this is both sides. It's not just Luke being a manipulator. He's also vulnerable. He's also up for grabs. Everyone is on the table.
It reminds us that the most important relationship this season is Annabeth and Luke. That, like, frankly, like, this is about Annabeth, Luke, and Thalia, and nobody understands their beef and their situation except for them, you know? And Percy can come in and be like, Luke's working the angle, and she's like, ugh. And then Allison can come in and be like, why are you talking to that girl? But it's, nobody understands. Nobody gets it. Like, the trauma bond that they have.
I would argue that the most important relationship in the series is between Annabeth and Luke, just because of, like, the ending. Like, that is the key to ending this whole Kronos mess. And, like,
I want to share, we just were a guest on a Seaweed Brain. Karna wasn't there, but we were guesting on Agents of Fandom, and I brought in Laura, our wonderful patron and professor. One of the hosts of that podcast, Jam, made this excellent comment about how, because their fatal flaws interlock, Percy and Annabeth, they together form the ideal hero. Like, neither one of them is the true hero, but together they are the true hero. And that's why Percy and Annabeth are both present when they make that final decision for the great prophecy at the end of The Last Olympian. That it takes both of them together. It's not necessarily that Annabeth is the one and it's not that Percy's the one. Like, together they are the people who pass that decision off to Luke. So it's a trio. It's always a trio. It's always about threes. I think in general, we can always, if we think it's about two, we have to add the third, which is something that John said to us when he came on our podcast. Like, if there's ever an issue, if you're writing a 2-person scene and it feels like it's lacking, you have to add the third person in there. What the showrunner said to us at our press junket, that the whole show is about threes. It's about groups of threes in every generation. Okay, that was a spiral. Let's move on. Let's move on to the sheep. Netflix, I will curse your name forever for canceling Six of Crows, but the legacy of the group heist lives on. So fun. The sheep, the baaing bit.
They also baa the children as we watch them through the shot where sheep are constantly coming in and out of the foreground.
Dr. Dilliman
often blocking them.
Dr. Dilliman in Act 2 of the stage version of Wicked, where they make that actor, who invariably is at least 50 years old, get on hands and knees and crawl under a blanket and go, "Mah," for one entrance in all of Act 2.
Did they throw Walker and Leah into a real pen with sheep and make them crawl around in sheepskins? Because I need to know.
Seems like they did.
That's what it looks like.
Right? Incredible.
Good times. Great camera angles.
If we may be so bold, I do a little bit feel like Walker, Leah, we respect you so much. Your craft, you've dedicated so much. The bear crawls. It's a little slow. It's a little. We were catching.
They were keeping up with the sheep. Not doing enough core exercises.
Leaving them in the dust a bit.
We're doing enough suspended tabletops with our knees hovering 1 to 2 inches above the ground at Camp Half-Blood.
No, they're too busy climbing the rock wall. With
it's important.
It's true. We were focused on other things in stunt camp.
It was a lot of upper body, right? Climbing the ropes, climbing the rock wall. Can't forget about the core.
Not enough core. Perhaps Chiron doesn't focus on the core because
he's a horse.
He doesn't. Thinking about the build of a horse, I'm like, does he
Where
need to
is
worry
Chiron's
about
core?
horse, right?
Where does he? Where can he support from? Is his spine fused between the human part and the horse part?
I don't want to think about him. He's not in this episode. I don't want to think about.
He's
Chiron
not in this episode. Out of sight, out of mind. Yes,
out of my episode.
Well, we're doing our sheep sneaking.
The only thing I have to say about this is that when Polyphemus looks into the pen of the sheep and pleasantly, peacefully smiles upon his only friends in life, these sheep, it made me want to cry. It made me want to yell the children of the gods and join Luke's army and say we have to have a broader perspective on things.
Are we supposed to be able to see Percy and Annabeth in the blurry shot of the pen? Because I don't, but I assume that they're there.
I didn't pay close enough attention, but that's a fun thing to go back and pause and look at.
Well, yeah, no, because I was looking, I was trying to spot them, and I was like, are their disguises that good, or am I just can I not see?
Clearly, Polyphemus knows that they're going to be around, has been waiting for them, is ready to try to get them. As we see momentarily when Percy and Annabeth try to rescue them and quickly realize that it's a trap.
But not before a great Emperor's New Groove moment. Back to back, tied up, using each other's body weight. So fun.
Yeah, I love the execution of the gag where they do not learn better teamwork. It's not about them trying to time things up. It's just about Clarice throwing Grover's body by herself into the mirror. We love the empowerment of women.
Grover and Clarice are an underrated duo. I feel like they could be really good for each other. If they were better friends.
They're an incredible duo. And in this episode, after they've already been found out, we cannot put too fine a point on this. They've already been found out. And this whole time, Grover remains in the wedding dress and Clarice remains, I don't know what else she would be in, but she remains in her big cargo pants and big boots, throwing Grover around.
All right, we're going to take an ad break here and we'll be right back. All right, so now we have to figure out how to get into the cave. Absolute golden line. I think when we were watching this for the first time, Carter was like, they could always leave Clarice. And then Walker went, we could always leave Clarice. So funny.
I am a Clarice apologist. I forgive her way more than I have ever forgiven
We love Clarice.
We love Clarice.
Great, I just wanted to make that clear.
Misinterpreting her own prophecy. That's okay, girl. You're making friends right now. This is the bonding. This is the bonding.
This is the power of friendship. This is the power of friendship.
Yes. We get trapped. This is all the music, everything in this episode. It's so well paced. We are at a breakneck speed. It's so good. The music is so suspenseful. I'm so freaked out. There's the way that the music comes in and out. I really love the scoring of this episode because in the moment, there's moments where we think things are fine and we have a moment to breathe. And then the score comes right back in and we're like, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it.
We watch Polyphemus running towards them. Annabeth is yelling down, it's a trap. And Polyphemus breaks the rope. Percy falls, caught by Clarice. And then Annabeth begins nobodying.
Yes. There's a great Percy Grover hug. The reunion is so cute. I'm not dreaming. You're really here. It's not a dream. Yay, best friends. Grocer forever.
Besties of all time.
Took a quick trip to the grocery store. Little run down to the market for this one.
No, because why don't people ship Percy and Grover? Why?
You just need to listen to our 205
I
episode.
don't think it's true that no one does it. I think the power of Persebeth is very strong, but a lot of people are
the power of Fujoshi internet users is strong too.
Never doubt a Fujoshi. Never play in their face. They will find the way. But I think at the same time, Persebeth is powerful enough that it has earned their respect, and they were like, you know what? In another lifetime, in another sequence of events.
Okay. Who loved Annabeth doing nobody? Who loved to see this girl use her knowledge of the past, of Odysseus, and do it again? And who was like, oh, we're not going to get nobody because we're doing Wokyphemus, and then was excited that we still got nobody because Annabeth is not too woke for that. She said,
yeah,
wasn't that so rude?
I will bring up your trauma and I will throw it in your face.
Yes.
There were several axes along which she could have been too woke for this. One of which is maybe we were being more empathetic to Polyphemus because of the Wokyphemus of it all. The other is that maybe she's supposed to be post-Odysseus at this point in her references.
Yes,
maybe.
yes.
I think it was heretofore unclear to us whether or not we were not Homer fans anymore. But, unfortunately with this one, it's a classic for a reason. If it works, it works. She has to distract him. This is what she knows. It makes sense.
And this is also a little bit of Annabeth's fatal flaw in this moment. Like us seeing her think, let me do my hubris. Let me do my moment.
Let me take on this Cyclops alone.
And it was so exciting for me to see her be so smug about it. Like, she was so, happy to be doing this. She was in her element. She was having fun, being like, oh, was that insensitive of me? And this is kind of the first time I feel like we've gotten to see her do that. I really feel like this is the first time we've gotten to see her use her trickster powers and really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And
this
really
is definitely the most we've seen her lean into it and, yes, relish the deviousness.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And then, oh boy. Oh, hold on to your hats, everyone, because there's a cyclone coming in, and it's Luke. Who felt like, I'm sorry I keep phrasing these things as questions. Who felt like the wind cyclone was a specific Hermes thing? Because I know it's like Backbiter, right? The idea is supposed to be it's like the power of Kronos that's allowing him to make these portals, like the portal he made at the end of season 1, and now he's portaling in this episode. But the fact that it was like a wind design for this one made me feel like, I don't know if it's like a super high level Hermes kid power or it's just because the portal is manifesting as the wind because it's Luke who's doing it. But I really like that, it's for Hermes, who is the god of travelers and has the winged shoes, and is like, he's not the god of wind, but he's associated with wind.
It is certainly, yes, the iconography is there and waiting for us to reach this conclusion.
Madame Morrible. A change in the weather.
It's her specialty.
Luke said that was recon. Perhaps now a change in the weather. And now we're off to the freaking race.
He's really ahead of it. We watch him run up, quickly realize everything that it has taken us the rest of this episode to figure out. He's like, oh, Annabeth's off doing that. Amazing. Perfect. We're going to go up and get the fleece. Oh, it's fake. Check. We just blast through everything in like 2 minutes. And we're caught up, and Luke is ready to manipulate the rest of the episode.
Chronipulate. Carter, I'm really trying to make it happen.
Sorry, we're going to make Chronipulate happen.
I want Chronipulate to happen.
I mean, Luke is the first one to actually touch the fleece. Like, he doesn't realize it's fake until he touches it. Annabeth didn't have to touch it, so she's still better and she still wins.
And period. Absolutely. She always wins.
It's not a contest. I didn't mean it as a contest. I meant it as an efficiency point. That, like, we get Luke on this island, and we do not waste show time catching him up with everybody. It's like 3 seconds, bam, bam, bam.
Right.
The pieces are in place for him to give us his next beat.
I also know that logistically, the reason why he's here alone is because the portal can only take one person. But I really like the fact that he's doing
can it? Or can it?
He takes the ship at the end. So I'm assuming that...
Because confirmation.
Why was he acting like he could have taken Percy with him in season 1? Because he definitely pitched that as we're going to take the portals together.
I just don't think that was the same kind of portal, given the difference in VFX design and the fact that in season 1 it had like a rune on it, like the rune symbol of Kronos. But I feel like at this point, regardless of whether or not the portal can only fit one person, it is he doesn't take Allison, it's just Luke, and he's doing this all alone. And the image of him, the imagery and the visual of him doing this on his own is very important in the power of friendship season.
Yes.
And in the solitude episode.
It's first principles, and it's the precipice. He's out there on his own, ready to get swayed, ready to make choices that Father Kronos rotting in the sarcophagus maybe would not approve of.
Yeah, because Luke doesn't have, I don't count Allison. Luke doesn't have those interlocking fatal flaw people to help him on the right path until the very end of The Last Olympian, when that person is Percebeth. Anyway, Grover be sniffing. Grover is searching for that fleece. And now I want to discuss Once Upon a Time, because did you not feel when he rounded that corner and found the fleece in the cave and we like, dun, 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 like the almost exact notes we're playing? Literally, okay. Also, when we first see the cave at the beginning of this episode, we have that touch of nature magic instrumentation where I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is. I polled my roommates who are composers and they said it sounds like a dulcimer.
I would believe that.
On the soundtrack, like when we first see the cave, and then that little flourish comes back when we round the corner and Grover sees the fleece. And then again, when Grover says the golden fleece, the real one, and we get dun, 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 dun. No, we don't. That's the Once Upon a Time theme song. But it sounds so similar. And if you go listen to the instrumentation in the Once Upon a Time theme song, it sounds so similar. And also the fact that we're like in a cave. So much of Once Upon a Time takes place underground. It's just, this is a delightful moment for me. I spent so many minutes of my prep time for outlining this episode trying to figure out what instrument this is that is playing the nature magic theme. We need a Bear McCreary blog post immediately once season 1 ends.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same way, Carter?
I did. I felt that the parallels were strong, and I was really glad. This episode isn't that long, but it is dense. I wonder how much the other episodes would be this length with slightly different editing.
I agree. I think the editing in this episode is so good. It's so good. Tight.
It's dense. We are whipping around, but they still took the time to give this moment. I think part of why this episode works and isn't overstuffed is that it's a culmination and it's a layering. If we didn't do this, I think it would feel more random, because the great joy of this episode is watching everyone's arcs pay off. And for Grover, the payoff of the arc is him having this huge milestone in the search for Pan. And this moment of proving himself and us validating the place within the quest architecture that we have and the worldview of all these other heroes who aren't really that obsessed with Pan like that, to understand the importance of this to him, the skill and commitment that he's put into this. I really liked it. And Aryan really lands the plane here as far as the emotional payoff.
Yeah. So much Mother Mary, Prophet, Chosen One vibes when he rounds the corner holding that fleece. I was like, that is Mother Mary and baby Jesus right now.
Yes.
Like the
way
sanctity.
He's holding it. The offset shots where like he's being like lit better by this sort of golden reflection than like Percy and Clarice, who were sort of the reaction shot for those.
I don't know what I was picturing in my head when I thought of the golden fleece, but it really looked like a piece of steel wool, but gold. I was like,
it looks like we're gonna scrub something 100%.
We're gonna scrub the scum of the earth away from the natural beauty. We need to get rid of the human beings.
I don't know, but speaking of natural beauty, I don't feel like this island is as lush as I was expecting it to be.
We spoke about this a bit last week, about how the fact that the greenery is so condensed gives us this idea that the focus and the power range of the fleece is very small. It has really, really concentrated magic as opposed to the entire island being verdant.
I think it also emphasizes the whole Polyphemus hoarder.
Yes.
Like extreme solitude, reclusive billionaire narrative, in the sense that he's not actually using the fleece to do what it's supposed to do, which is create the bounty of nature. He's just having it because he wants to have it and using it as a way to inflict harm upon others through its inertial force.
Hiding it underground in a cave the way Regina hides all the hearts of her enemies and loved ones.
That's another Once Upon a Time reference for the folks at home.
It's all about Once Upon a Time.
Okay, this is our final ad break. Oh my God. Oh God, you thought we were almost done with this episode? Psych. It's the best scene in all of television history. I'm joking and it's not a joke. I'm joking, but it's not a joke.
Yes.
We have Clarice, Percy, and Grover with the fleece in the cave. We have Wokyphemus. As soon as we rip the fleece from its hiding place, he can tell. And again, I feel so bad for him. Even though he's a hoarding billionaire, the sounds that he's making, the sadness, like the fear, it's oh god, it really gets me.
He's about to be actually alone forever. He's not going to be able to get any new voices, new stories.
Don't say that. I know he's a murderer, but oh god, it's so sad.
Oh no, he won't get to murder more satyrs.
Yeah, god, you're talking to somebody who felt so bad for Lockjaw in one battle after another. That's when I knew that I was cooked as far as my media comprehension. I don't know. I feel bad for anything. Have you seen that meme? It's like
Erica was like, "Why doesn't he get to have Christmas?
Why doesn't he get to be Christmas time?" I saw a meme recently that was like, I knew life was going to be hard for me when I felt bad for inanimate objects as a child. Mm-hmm. When I cried when I lost my mechanical pencil because I thought my mechanical pencil would be lonely forever.
That's real.
And I was in like 5th grade at that point.
Too much Pixar. Cooked.
Anyway, Polyphemus to the cave. Annabeth slices his ankle. Freaks out. He starts to roll the boulder back. He throws Annabeth. That's a concussion at the very least. Oh my god. Also, she's literally at the cliff's edge here.
No, so many head injuries. Like, Clarice also has a
She
concussion,
has
by the
like
way,
3
based
concussions.
on what happened in episode 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm surprised
on her
Clarice
head.
is standing, has the ability to like lug Grover around. Like,
Yeah, she's fallen from great heights several times.
where's the post-concussion protocol? Like,
She had the explosion and she washed up on shore. That's one. She fell out of that net onto the cave
trap?
floor.
No. Before that, there's the trap. Trap hung up by her ankles. That's not good for your head.
That's not good for your head. And then she falls
Out of the net, down from the rope.
and lands onto the wagon and then back onto the floor.
and is unconscious. And then she's in the bag and he like hits her on the head again. So like,
Right. Clarice.
Clarice has a
Many
traumatic brain injury.
traumatic
And I
brain
think
injuries.
we need to, view all of her actions through the lens of like, she has brain damage now. Like,
Oh, poor girl. Poor girl. Annabeth also, this smack, I was like, oh.
this was horrible. This was honestly
scary.
worse than
She's
looking
so
at
small.
the sea of dead children in the dream. Like, I think probably just because like I know Annabeth, that's my close personal friend. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God.
I know. We're going to have to start like swear jarring at the Foley work. We have to say, it sounded horrible when she got whacked.
No,
Yeah.
awful. That moment where like her knife falls out of her hand was in one of the trailers we got like, a long time ago.
Yes.
And I like in the trailer watched that happen and went, and then I was like, why am I gasping? Like I've read the book, and this was the same reaction for me. I was like, why am I gasping?
Wait.
Like I've read the book, I know where we're going, but also like there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, is she dead? Like truly.
One note on this to build off of that. Note that the knife is bloody. Bloody. What does
Yes.
Polyphemus have?
It's not Icar.
Okay, one explanation is maybe it's from her because she has a large head injury at this point. But
No.
it's not Icar. It's not dust. Are we perhaps all children of the gods?
I think we are.
Many people are saying.
I think we are all children of the gods here.
Ooh.
Ooh. That's a good note, Carter. That's a good note. Because it is celestial bronze. So, like, it's not a one-tap dust situation.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Just as we think Wokyphemus is about to yeet Annabeth off of this cliff, because we love yeeting off of cliffs in Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
We love a beautiful Vancouver seaside cliff.
This isn't Vancouver, this is the Okanagan. We have Deus Ex Tysona. Tyson Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Deus Ex Cyclopia. We are going to come in here and we're gonna have Cyclops fight, baby Cyclops versus big Cyclops. We're gonna wake it up.
And we're gonna do all of this fascinatingly. So, like, we saw Polyphemus open the door.
Oh,
He's almost about to close it back on them when Annabeth stabs him. And so now we have this sliver that is roughly the
Mhm.
width of Walker's face.
that's the Emmy award-winning sliver.
That is cinema. That's like a
Mhm.
one-car YTs. That is, we are
Open
going
the
to
movie
get
theaters.
so much delicious frame within frame, vertical frame within horizontal frame. setup of this.
That's the worth my entire Disney Plus subscription sliver right there.
And we already get it. When Tyson comes here, we see some of this being shot from the exterior, and we see a lot of it, though, being shot from Percy's POV. We have a camera pressed up against the sliver where you can only see, like, people coming in and out of the viewpoint. I think there's even some shots in this where you can see the camera moving within the sliver to try to see from different angles the fight.
The sliver that, by the way, the first time we saw this cave opening was in the shape of what? Was in the shape of an eye. The cave opening itself is the eye, which represents Polyphemus, but is also our watch point.
No, it's also interesting because I, like Percy, am very focused on Annabeth in this moment. There's parts where you like can't see her while the fight is going on. And I was like, I'm like, they're going to crush her. They're going to step on her. Like, where is Annabeth? I need to know where she is. And like the tiny sliver, like it adds to the tension. I feel
tension. It's about doubt.
Like you were getting such a small part of this. Oh, it's so good.
Should we do a quick reading from the little Cyclops joint slay convention meetup outside the cave?
Are you going to be Polyphemus? I'll be Tyson.
Step aside, little brother. I have no desire to hurt you. These mortals belong to me.
No, they don't. And you're not my brother. My brother is inside this cave.
That's a really excellent Tyson.
You've been around demigods for too long. Imagine we're speaking ancient Greek here. They think they are more than they are. But in the end, they're no different from us, monsters.
Ancient Greek, you're wrong. Percy's not like you. He's a hero. Fight.
This is correct.
Who thought that in this moment Tyson was going to say, and so am I?
He should have.
He should have.
I thought there was like one more line that was coming.
Maybe it was a little too low-hanging, too trite.
And he's demonstrating it through his stunt telling, his story stunting.
Yes.
But I want him to recognize that he's a hero. Like, he wanted to go to hero camp so bad. He wants to be a hero. Like, speak it, Tyson. Like, recognize that you're a hero. I love him.
Yes.
Getting to see Tyson, who has been, like, the biggest person in this season, really, so far, like, look teeny tiny compared to Polyphemus.
Physically biggest up until this point, being physically dwarfed. Yes. Who else also, I have to say this, when we first watched this, I don't know if we had subtitles on, we were both like, did they make up a language? What is going on here? Upon repeat viewing, I was like, oh, what do I think this is? Yeah, okay. It's probably Greek. That checks out. Why does Tyson know ancient Greek? He's fluent? I don't know how much to think about this. I think we're not going to think about it.
Are you sure that it was ancient Greek?
That is what the official subtitling says. And also it sounds like Greek.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. I was thinking in more of a D&D sense that like there are languages that certain like, you know, like races of monsters speak that others don't, and that this is like
when we first watched it, I think I assumed that it was Cyclops language. However, I do think that it is in fact actually ancient Greek based on the subtitling. We're clearly not going to be the experts that you need to talk about this. But also, why do they both know this?
Albert, you tell us. Tell the podcast and talk to us about it.
Yeah, was Tyson just on the streets learning ancient Greek as a child in his little cardboard box?
Ancient Greek and fighting, because he is throwing Polyphemus around. That scene where he grabs him up off the ground and whoom over his body.
This is feral Tyson.
Tyson is a New Yorker.
He's a native New Yorker.
He's a native New Yorker.
New Yorkers buy more people every year than sharks. Like, Tyson is a New Yorker. He can get it done.
The reason why I like the idea that it's like a monster language, though, is because this is something that Tyson could have learned on the streets from the other monsters on the streets. Like the Sphinx. When the Sphinx was talking to him about his parents, they were speaking in this language.
Greek speaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
It did ratchet up the tension in that way of Polyphemus being like, you need to recognize our obvious unspoken bond. Our culture.
And that's also, again, why the thought of it not being ancient Greek, but rather like a monster language boosts the culture, they, them, sneaky third choice, fully acknowledged spherical reading of the entire world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have too many names for this. We need to settle on one single name for this reading.
No, I think we have to do the whole list every time.
Sneaky third choice, they, them, gray area, fully spherical acknowledgement of the world.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Oh my God. And then, okay, so after the yeet off of the cliff, we have my favorite moment of this episode, full-on horror movie jump scare, where we're in silence. And then we have a big string hit, and Luke pops his head into the little cave entrance viewpoint.
Into the crack, because we're still looking from the little crack in the cave door. Oh.
This was a moment where I forgot, like, entirely that Luke was even a player in this episode. And I was like, Luke's back.
Who else
Incredible.
Screamed incredible stuff here. And as soon as he got on, you begin to speculate, right? It's not just the surprise. It's like, okay, what is he here to do? What are we going to have to give up? How is he going to whoop us, school us?
We cannot trust what he says. And that's what makes this so fun. When he says she's dying, is he being truthful?
Is she?
Is she? We know she's hurt. Is the fact that she's dying, though, is that a manipulative thing that he is specifically saying that it's this bad that you have to give me the fleece?
And as in the previous episode, the whole time, Percy is screaming, no, don't touch her, etc.
Oh my God. No, don't touch her. Get away from her. Luke, you better not hurt her. Annabeth. Wow.
Oh.
Cinema. Emmy Awards.
My read on this, so like the way that we shoot this is that we get a lot of Luke from inside the cave through the crack, which we have talked about, but there are some shots outside, full regular, where we see him head on. His back at this point is to the cave. I think from the head on shots, to me, it really strongly reads that he's being serious. He's dropped in, he's taking this really seriously, and he believes that she's about to die. However, we are being reminded by the way we're shooting this that Percy and everyone inside the cave, to your point, they don't know that. They're not seeing his face. They don't know the modulations of his voice. For them, this could be a trick. We get to have our cake and eat it.
Yes.
Luke as like vulnerable human person with relationships that are tethering him and complicating his whole Kronos thing, but also Luke as Kronipulator, scary, unknowable trickster.
But also, I don't think even if Percy could see like Luke experiencing a human emotion, he would, like, he heard the word dying and Annabeth in the same sentence and just blacked out and was like,
100%. The fact that from the perspective of the cave group, they don't know whether or not he's telling the truth means that Percy is risking Luke lying in this moment and still putting the quest at risk.
A little bit of Last Olympian tease here for us all.
Absolutely.
Those human choices. It's
literally human choices. Percy about to make the biggest human choice, and I cackled to myself when I was looking through the score, through Bear McCreary's soundtrack, and the song that the title of the scoring for the scene is called Fatal Flaw.
Incredible.
Can you believe that? Is that
10 out of 10?
Not so delicious? Because this is the moment. To literally hear Percy say in episode 205, what if I have to choose between saving Grover or the quest? What if I have to choose between saving Grover or saving you? Annabeth, I'd burn it all down. And then he literally does exactly that, not but 36 minutes later.
Yes. You may recall in the books that Annabeth faces a similar injury, but we just heal her. We're off. We did our little Polyphemus thing. We're making our way. No, too easy. We need to.
No, we had to up the drama.
We don't know what Percy's fatal flaw is, right?
Very true.
The juice that we've gotten, the preparation that we have for what is to come.
And it's not just Percy, right? So that's like the microcosm of what's going on with Percy. But then we have every single other player in the scene, which is so delicious. We have Clarice saying to him, I'm not sacrificing the quest. Word for word, I am not sacrificing the quest.
Looking at him out of the corner of her eye and then sprinting off right before he does to grab the fleece, to clutch it to herself.
Yes. That imagery was so good. She's a kid. They're all kids, right? She's like, I'm not giving you my toy. Like, this is my prize. This is my spoils. I'm not giving it to the Apollo cabin, and I'm not giving it to you. Like, I'm not sacrificing the quest. And she's right. She is right. Like, every single person in this scene is right, and that's why this is such a good scene. Writing a group scene where everyone is at odds, but everyone is also correct.
Group scene, theater culmination. The blocking feels so visceral in this scene.
The reason why I love this episode so much is in part because it all takes place in one spot. Aside from the Iris message, we're all in one location. And my like stupid little theater brain just like loves it when we have like an entire TV episode or an entire movie that's just on one location. We're all together because it feels like a play. It feels
kind
like
of a bottle episode, kind of a play.
We're at the perfect point in the series for like kind of a bottle episode. And so Clarice is like, I need the glory, you know, like I'm completing the quest, honored, you know, etc. for her.
Well, it's not just about that. I think she's making the correct decision, as she says. She tells us here, like, Annabeth would agree. This is the whole like argument that she made all of season 1. You need to consider all of the children at camp who are going to die if you do this.
Well, and Clarice also says, like, camp is her home, too. Those are her people. That's her home. Like, of course she's going to make this decision. And, like, Annabeth is only one like, it's the trolley problem. You know, do you pull the lever? Do you save Annabeth at the cost of saving camp? Like, and obviously, like, Percy is going to choose Annabeth every time.
But I think the way she articulates that is so unique to herself. Like, I think Annabeth would probably articulate this as the trolley problem, as like a simple more people's lives should be saved. But Clarice's argument, I think, is more interesting and more character-rich. Like, she understands that they would agree about this, but her, like, the idea of something being bigger than herself is a different calling card. It's glory adjacent, but I don't know, I found that language so powerful and evocative for the journey that she's been on, that like she's learned through this to situate herself in something greater. And we then get Grover's intervention into this, because everyone has to be maxing out on their character traits. We have Grover being, to be honest, almost as scary as Luke to me in this moment. The way that he swoops in here and he's prepared. He is immediately like, push.
Grovipulate.
I know exactly how to grovipulate.
Sayrpulate.
Use that empathy.
Was anyone surprised that Grover was on Percy's side here?
No.
Because the blocking, they blocked the hell out of this scene. We initially have it being this triangle. It looks the same as many other Grover scenes. It looks like he's about to consensus song it. Grover in the middle of Percy and Annabeth. We got last episode Grover in the middle of Percy and Luke. That's the way that it's blocked, where we don't know initially whose side he's going to be on, which I think makes it so much more satisfying when he starts his Grover manipulation and just like bam, 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 like ooh, gets her there, stuns her verbally. At which point Percy is able to not wait for the Grover manipulation to succeed and just steal it,
Yoink.
Throw it out. It's so satisfying. It's so fast. It's so burning through all of the character building capital that we've built up through this season.
I think it makes total sense that Grover would have the ability to grovipulate Clarice here and using like, you know, her deepest, darkest fears against her. But also, I'm still like, are you surprised? Are you not surprised that Grover took Percy's side? I guess Grover's not Percy's mortal tether for a reason, you know? I guess if Annabeth was conscious right now, she would be like, don't give the fleece to Luke, you know?
Yes.
Because she serves as his interlocking fatal flaw. I guess this is why we're not at the grocery store. This is why we're not at the grocery store and Grocer is not the greatest love story ever told, is because their fatal flaws don't complement each other. And Grover was like, I'm on Percy's side.
Yeah, I mean, from the second that they showed me Grover and baby Annabeth in that flashback, I was like, pack it up, I'm done. Like, he's known her for so long. Like, I don't know
that's true.
Any other choice he could have made. Like,
he is both a synthesizer and a mediator, but also like he is Mother Teresa. He is the Virgin Mary. He, like, as we have clearly established in the past 2 episodes, he is both a master manipulator and also someone who's gonna make the saintly choice every time.
Master manipulator. God, you're so good at what you do.
Gaslight
Came to me
go
like
bust.
a savior, yet I'd put myself through hell for you. Season 1, episode 1.
It's Olivia Rodrigo. Yes.
Logical. Also, though, I am thinking now, what you just said, Mal, about the fact that they have been friends for so long, that Grover knew Luke, Thalia, and Annabeth. Grover watched Thalia sacrifice herself for Luke and Annabeth. Grover has watched Luke change and disappear. And now the only person that's left after Thalia sacrifices Annabeth. So for something to happen to Annabeth means that Thalia sacrificing herself was also like for nothing. Which is not to take away his personal relationship with Annabeth, but it's a big deal. Yeah.
I will cry right now.
Oh, the Luke, take it, shoving the fleece through that little gap. Oh my God. This whole scene also has been monkey in the middle. Like Percy trying really hard to run back and forth and reason at first with Clarice and then realize there is no reasoning and just take it and throw it through the cave is so delicious, so tense, so stressful. He puts the fleece on her. Incredible music cue.
I have to say, there was a split second where I thought Luke was going to take off with that fleece. I really did.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, he is about to not use it on Annabeth. He is about to leave her there.
Yeah, I think it like doesn't necessarily live in the performances, but like we are meant to consider all these possibilities all the time. Like
it's the timing.
Yes.
That is the brilliance of the direction, the timing, the staging, the blocking, the editing. That this whole episode, you're like, what is going to happen at any moment?
Yes, that you can be in such suspense while still knowing the characters intimately and having, in retrospect, like such a perfect, like everyone was always going to do what they were going to do, and yet you could still feel surprised by it in the moment.
It is explosive.
On the rewatch, like looking at Luke, like there's never a moment that he's not going to put that fleece on Annabeth. Like there's never a moment that he considers walking away. But like to me, watching it the first time, like knowing what I know about Luke and who he is, and I was like, is this going to be the moment where he makes himself irredeemable to me? Because that's my problem with Luke is his treatment of Annabeth. The way that he is like so willing to toss her aside despite how much she cares about him and how much he claims to care about her. So like I was like, this is it. This is the moment. And then it didn't happen. And like,
course
obviously
not.
it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen.
Not this early.
Yeah, but I believed it would.
This show was too smart to put us on the wrong side of Luke this early.
But this is true. However, it is very clearly established earlier in the scene that there is one bridge that he won't cross for them. He frames it as a logistical thing, but I feel like, okay, he and Percy are basically negotiating through this little crack, right? Like how we are going to do the fleece handoff before Luke basically gets to the place of like, you just have to give it to me, right? Before that, Percy is trying to be like, get us all out, right? Like we can figure out a way to heal Annabeth together without you just having a clean win. And the way that he says, I can't hear, I don't know if I believe the logistical situation, but I do believe that he can't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he is also in this moment coming to terms with how much he can get away with from Kronos. He's having many epiphanies. He's understanding that the path of Kronos and what he really wants are not 100% the same, but also he cannot. Does this make sense? There are things that he cannot cross Kronos to do, even for Annabeth, because of the situation he's found himself in.
I don't think that the portal thing was ever going to work, but I do think that, you know, obviously he didn't have to yeet off and take their boat. He could have stayed there and helped them get out of the cave, but he did not. He could have seen Tyson coming up and been like, oh, Tyson can move the boulder. I'll stay here. I'll leave Annabeth with them, and then I'll go. But of course not.
He certainly could have left Annabeth. Yes.
What is Luke's objective this entire season?
He wants
Get Annabeth to my side. And if this is the moment, if he has to take her unconscious, of course he does.
Yeah, like he knows he can't get Percy, but I think if he got Annabeth, he could maybe then get Percy.
This is the kind of episode that you can only have at the end of a season in which we have done such delicious character work for every one of our main characters, so that when Luke shows up here, so that when we are in this moment of high tension, wondering what everyone is going to do, we know that each one of these characters is a ticking time bomb, and that one wrong move, like one wrong wire cut, is going to blow this entire place up. And who cuts the wire is Percy, because it's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. But any one of them, you know, they're all firing. They're all like at a 10, and we know that any of them would do anything for what their objective is, and they all are doing so. Having just a shot, just staying on Percy's face, looking through the cave as Clarice is like, great job, hero, you know, like.
Yes. Those set of shots where we have Clarice watching Percy give the fleece away, and then we have Percy watching Luke walk away while both of them are doing the respective narration. Like, Clarice watches Percy as he's saying, Luke, here, take it. And we see her process that she's failed and that the quest is done and it's over, versus seeing Clarice be like, you killed Camp. You probably killed Annabeth too, as we're just holding on his face. Incredible stuff. Such deliberate camera placement through this episode. But yes, Tyson is back.
Tyson saves us. Really beautiful brother reunion. The hug.
The hug.
Tyson being so clearly like traumatized and triggered by what he just had to do. Like, that is not the version of Tyson that he wants to be. He does not like being violent. He does not like being a New Yorker.
And we don't know what he did, actually. Off screen.
All he says is he's not going to bother anyone anymore.
He probably strangled Polyphemus underwater, you know, like something, because Polyphemus can also breathe underwater because he's also a son of Poseidon, so it wasn't just going over the edge that would have done it. Like, something else happened. He doesn't want to talk about it.
What did Tyson do?
Something awful that he never wants to relive again, but he did it because he had to save his brother.
How do we feel about the choice for that to be off screen?
For my own personal like feelings, I enjoy it, because if I had to watch Tyson like kill someone, I don't know if I could ever look at him the same.
I think the cliff drop is so good because, first of all, we can't be having all that Polyphemus special effects makeup underwater. That's not happening. Second of all, it gives us a second, oh my God, Tyson's dead moment, you know? Like, it gives us, it's like he shows up, we don't even get to thank him. On top of everything that happens to Percy in the scene, he's had Tyson for a moment and then he lost him again. And then he comes back. It's just perfect. The emotional roller coaster is so delicious. We have a little bit of relief for Percy at the end of this episode, so he's not in complete despair.
It's very tactful restraint in a very dense episode.
Yeah. The image of Annabeth's hat being on the ground. Ooh. Perfect.
I was like, this is a season early. This is too early for Percy to have her hat.
Let's talk about that. The way that we do Annabeth getting kidnapped before Annabeth actually gets kidnapped.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's like even further than foreshadowing. It's gonna be PTSD when it happens the second time. I think it's a really brave choice because I think that there's like, you could argue that it's like superfluous, to do it now when it's gonna be like all of next season.
You could argue that we see Annabeth get kidnapped too many times and Percy get kidnapped not enough times.
Yeah, but I think it's a really fun choice. I think it's really fun. I think it's really exciting. I think it's gonna make Percy even more devastated when she's gone. It's also gonna be even more desperate from Luke, to kidnap her again. And what is that going to look like? I wouldn't be surprised if, that whole Westover sequence is like totally altered so that it isn't, playing quite the same way. And I mean, I still think she's going to.
I mean, yeah, there's got to be a cliff moment. There has to be.
Yeah, she's probably going to go over the cliff. But like, yeah, I want to applaud this choice because I think that there's many versions of this conversation that we're probably like, we can't have her get taken. But I think it's brilliant.
Bold. Strong.
And Walker just gets better and better at screaming Annabeth, so like ready for that season 3.
Rehearse. Practice.
Warming up the folds, warming up the vocal folds.
I do also have to give a small shout out to Grover and Tyson meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
Many shows would not remember that these two characters have not met yet, and that would read for them, and that it still makes sense for them to interact, but also like, I don't know, the dynamic's going to be a little bit different. Shout out to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these are two people who have heard a lot about each other from Percy.
Yes,
and
both secret third thing, round world, they them,
befriend each other,
etc.
Yeah.
Oh, I also really felt like I paused when Percy picks up Annabeth's hat on Walker's face because it was the first thought that popped into my mind was nobody touches her. Nobody touches her. That is the subtext of that shot. The shot of all of them running up to the beach to see Luke sailing away with Annabeth on that boat got me so good. There's a shot of them. We see them from behind running up, and then we flip the camera. We see them standing all together. Once again, Six of Crows, you will never die. We mourn your name, but we see you everywhere. We see you in the trees and in the breeze.
How does Luke know how to sail is my question.
He's a yachter
from
now.
Connecticut.
He's from Connecticut. He wears polo shirts.
Westport, Connecticut. You can't be wearing those outfits if you don't know how to sail.
Legally.
No, that's fair. That sweater, that is a sailing sweater.
They make you prove that you know how to tie a ship knot before you buy a pair of boat shoes. So I've heard. Rainbow and his friends. Final shot. Yay, everyone who was concerned we wouldn't see Rainbow and Rainbow's friends. So stunning, beautiful. Just enough to see them without wasting too much time and energy and money on very costly visual effects. But they look beautiful. And I love the design. I love how they're all slightly different colors. I need a plushie right now, yesterday.
Yes.
Give it to me.
Or like a hanging glass sculpture,
Chimes?
perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, wind chimes.
Thing. Oh, we love Rainbow, and that's the end of the episode. Bam, bam, boom, bam. Who wants to talk about why this episode is Avatar: The Last Airbender?
It's because Luke is Zuko.
Yes, and say more about that.
There is now an archetype in culture of friends to enemies to at the last second regretful throwing it back to your original team before you die, right? I think Anakin Skywalker is probably the most, at this point in Western civilization, canonical example of this story arc, but it appears many times. It is arguably Luke's story arc. This is the moment where we are seeing that it's not Anakin, and we have actually a better reference for what all is going on, and that reference is Zuko. Zuko does something similar, but Zuko, you might remember from Avatar: The Last Airbender, gives us the Blue Mask episode. Should we do an explanatory comma on the Blue Mask episode?
This is so the Blue Spirit episode.
Absolutely.
Literally watching Luke, Zuko, Luzco spend so much time with the rest of the group, have this moment of like extreme understanding with Aang, aka Percy, in which they reach a mutual agreement over like a fundamental truth, and then ultimately splitting up again at the end of the episode.
Yes, it is reminding us of the tether, the connection, the foil-ism, and the giving us that mysterious, dangerous, nebulous interplay between them and showing us how much they could learn from each other, that they're not just foils, that they really viscerally exist together in the world, and that there are a lot of interests that they have that are materially convergent in addition to just ideological resonances between them. It like really prepares us for a world in which they are selectively together and in which they are shirking some of the external forces that would divide them, and are pulling them apart onto opposite sides of a larger conflict. It's so powerful. And it also prepares us for the different structure of Avatar: The Last Airbender, in which Zuko is having a journey the whole time. He is actively considering different things. He is weaving through different sides. He's exploring secret third options in the countryside and with other people. And he gives us a full redemption arc. He isn't changing sides literally 5 minutes before he dies with one last big move, which is kind of the structure of the books. I think this is making me hopeful that we are going to see a secret third thing, a bigger, broader, what is he going to be getting up to with Annabeth next season?
Yeah. I think Luke's going to look for a way out. 100%.
He's going to look for a way out. And I think he's going to be giving her more. Like, we are going to be seeing him materially sacrificing things, risking his relationship with Kronos to protect the other things he cares about that are not the ideological core mainline mission of the Kronos project.
Absolutely.
I would actually love to see that, because I would love to get to a point in The Last Olympian where I can actually see Luke as a hero, because book Luke, I do not buy him as a hero. I do not think he has atoned enough for his mistakes by dying. Like, that is one of my least favorite tropes. The, like, last second, oh, I've killed myself, so now you have to forgive me. Like, I would
completely
love
agree
to see a bit more from Luke.
I think Luke, it's difficult because I do feel like we get a clear ideological lens on him that is the secret third thing, that like he is trying to pick whether the Olympians or Kronos better align with his secret third thing, kids deserve respect option, and decides at the last minute basically that he misunderstood the situation and is changing. But the atonement thing, I 100% full agreement. Like, it is unsatisfying and difficult to follow the character on that journey and to understand like what lessons about life to take away from such a story in which you don't see someone work through what it's like to have made a
Give
mistake.
me the little duo Luke field trips like they do in Avatar, you know, like he's got to go on his little field trip with everybody in order to, you know, redeem himself to them.
In the entirety of season 3 is his little field trip with Annabeth.
That's his Annabeth field trip.
Yes. Maybe this is too much. Maybe this is too big of a swing. I think it would be really cool to see, because we're going to need to keep people around in the Battle of the Labyrinth. What is Thalia doing? What is Thalia busy with in the Battle of the Labyrinth? We don't know. I would like to see a Luke field trip. I think that feels like a slam dunk
She's
to
busy
me,
fighting monsters
personally.
for the Great Awakening. So if she fights a monster that somehow leads her to Luke's army, then yeah, maybe there's like an appearance.
I don't know. Luke will be busy, of course. In the Battle of the Labyrinth, he'll have many things to do, like meeting Ethan Nakamura. But
Wow! Guys, should we do some Noti Awards?
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and start us off today with the Noti Award nomination for Don't Text That Toxic Man for Percy careening into the vision. What are you doing? Percy Jackson is here to remind you today, do not text that toxic man.
Do not text that toxic man.
Don't pick up the FaceTime.
Don't pick up the FaceTime. Don't respond to the text. It's not worth your time.
No, absolutely not. I think I've got to give an award to the most biblical fatal flaw crash out, which is Percy screaming at Luke not to touch her in that cave and not hurt her, and like, oh my god, Annabeth!
Don't touch her.
Like, watching him lose his mind, I'm like, that is Percy Jackson. That is Percy Jackson.
Biblical fatal flaw crash out. Absolutely. Carter, what do you got?
I believe mine will be the Stanley Kubrick Wong Kar-wai Award
Steven
for
Spielberg.
excellence in cave crack filmmaking. I want nothing more in life than to continuously see frame within a frame done so masterfully. I have never felt so tense, claustrophobic, mired in the prison of doubt, enmeshed within the framing nature of storytelling fundamentally as a limiting way of communicating information.
Yes, we talked so much in episode 1 about the hashtag historic Percebeth threshold conversation at the doorway of cabin 3. And so to then have this conversation, you know, in the cave entrance, oh, juicy, delightful, brilliant, never been done before, never to be done again.
Show-stopping.
Unafraid to reference or not reference. Thank you, Albert Kim. You are all three of our biological fathers.
Yes. I hope that everything good happens to you ever, because this episode of all time.
Yes, may your coffee always be warm. May your oat milk always be steamed and frothed to the perfect texture.
Yeah.
Craig Silverstein, Dan Schatz, and Albert Kim, all three of you are my biological fathers. It's like Mamma Mia.
Yes.
And with that, now, where can people find you on the internet?
So I also have a Percy Jackson podcast. Surprise. It's called Demigod Debut. I make it with a friend of mine who is reading the Percy Jackson books for the first time. You can find us wherever podcasts are found. You can also find me pretty much anywhere on social media at Demigod Debut Pod.
Woohoo! Everybody go check out Mal. And also join our Patreon, patreon.com/SayWeBrain. We're doing watch parties every week. We have fun special stuff there. If you really want to see our extremely long outlines full of stuff that does not get into the main episode, you can join our Patreon.
Yeah, there's a meme in here.
There's a meme in here that you'll have to join the Patreon if you want to know what the meme is.
Bye, all.
Bye, y'all.